It may take months for investigators to fully understand Bernard Madoff's $50 billion Ponzi scheme, but friends and investors from Hollywood to Palm Beach, Florida, may never be able to reconcile the man they knew with the scam he's alleged to have run.
When my wife's sister passed away, Bernie Madoff came to the funeral. That's the type of individual that we all thought he was, a very caring individual.
Norman Braman, former owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, invested with Madoff and says he never appeared too eager to accept new money.
You had to know somebody, a friend of a friend, who had some influence for Madoff to accept an account. I mean, this was a classic scam.
Though he socialized with a wealthy set, his own lifestyle wasn't overly lavish.
He didn't live a flamboyant life. He didn't have a big fancy yacht. It was a combination of factors: what he looked like, his manner, his supposed record, the fact that he was a philanthropist.
This was a huge punch in the stomach. It's a personal punch in the stomach because this is somebody I knew and still have affection for.
Francis Levy is the director of an educational center that had virtually all its funds invested in Madoff securities. He says the deception is hard to believe.
Is it possible that he is a sociopath who cares nothing about human beings? And I can't believe that.
All right. Well, we are joined by Michael Santoli from Barron's Magazine. Michael, good morning.
Good morning.
So how did he get away with it for so long?
Well, it seems one reason he got away with it is that investors didn't have any losses to complain about. His returns seemed good. There was no dissatisfied investors. As folks there said, he actually cultivated this sense of privacy and exclusivity. He made it hard for you to get in, and therefore it wasn't a typical money manager who said, give me all your cash, I want to run it. And so I do think that the SEC oversight, certainly there were lapses there. This is a firm that was examined numerous times without anybody finding anything, but it seemed as if there was no smoking gun. There was not a lot of complaints about him.
Well, what about like the hedge fund clients? I mean, the people in the financial world, how did they get fooled?
Well, there really is not a good excuse for those folks getting fooled, in our opinion. I mean, Barron's 7 years ago raised some questions about the unusual supposed predictability of his returns, the fact that he was so private, the fact that he insisted on privacy from his clients. And what you'll notice is it was not a lot of big state pension funds, for example, that would have a very rigorous kind of vetting process. It was hedge funds who were looking for steady returns, not, by the way, mind-bogglingly high returns, just steady ones, and consistency and no losses. And they were essentially looking to glean fees off of their client accounts by giving it to Madoff. It was really just a convenience matter.
How much blame should the SEC be taking in all of this?
Well, I think plenty of blame. I mean, obviously, by the SEC's own apparent admission, they clearly feel like they should have caught more of this. But I don't know that it would have been possible to necessarily nail him at an early stage here. If somebody is committed to committing fraud, and if they want to bring new investors to pay off existing investors, which is what a Ponzi scheme is, that game can go for a long time before people notice it.
So are you telling me there is no way we can put regulations in place where future investors won't get fooled?
I don't think that we need new regulations. We need the examiners to actually be more rigorous about going in there, making sure these accounts contain the securities that the manager says they contain. That seems to be a very simple thing that wasn't followed here.
And in the final seconds, the biggest takeaway message or lesson learned in all this is
if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And his returns did seem too good to be true for too long.
Michael Santoli from Barron's. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.